Welcome to Building Loved Businesses. I'm Nathan Schock, and I've helped hundreds of business leaders grow their businesses with fewer growing pains. Every week on this podcast, I talk with business owners who've built companies that employees love to work for and customers love doing business with. These businesses are loved by their communities, but maybe not so well known outside of it just yet. Today on the podcast, we're speaking with Pierce Lohman, founder of Lowman Earthworks in the Quad Cities, a company that's grown from mowing lawns to managing pools, patios, and full property transformations. So, Pierce, welcome to the show. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, thanks for
You
having us.
you said you started mowing lawns when you were a teenager. What do
Correct.
you
Yep.
remember about those? What do you remember about those early jobs?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't even drive yet, so I was 14, 15 years old. My dad would primarily drop me off at a spot that was a couple acres, and I'd mow for a few hours, and he'd pick me up and take me to the next spot, and kind of did that all summer. And then by the end of the school year too, it slowed down a little bit. The homeowners would kind of pick back up a little bit when I got busy with sports and stuff, but I mean, it was just dad would drop me off at one spot, or my mom or babysitter would drop me off and mow and go to the next one.
Yeah, did you ever think that um, those early jobs would grow into a business?
I wanted it to, but I didn't think it would. I mean, I shouldn't say I didn't think it would. I just didn't see where it would go back then. I just liked working and doing my own thing and having nice equipment. We used the homeowners mowers, so it was always nice having brand new mowers. And I mean, I wanted to get there. I just didn't think it'd get this far.
Yeah. Then now fast forward, right? You're going to college and you're running crews back home. So talk about that stage and how you balanced going to school and running a business.
Yeah, so I mean, we were smaller back then in high school. We'd mow 4 days a week in the summer, and then on Fridays or 1 or 2 days a week, we'd landscape. Kind of the same thing going to college. We'd run 1 to 2 crews. I bet we were probably doing 4 to 500,000 a year back then. Going to college, when I went to college in the fall, it would turn more into just kind of mowing again in the fall, but we'd still do some landscape work. I'd come back Friday mornings, try to not have class on Fridays and Mondays. Mondays I'd come back to pay the guy, or Mondays I'd come back to get him started for the week. Fridays I'd come back to pay him. I was just in Iowa City, so it's only an hour away. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Like we had my first, it was probably junior year of college, had a first real world experience of the guys were out doing a landscape job and they ended up crashing a truck and trailer. So I'm at school trying to figure out what to do and make sure they're not hurt and everything's okay. And so it was a lot, but it was also fun because I never had to do. My goal was to work all summer long as hard as I could, so I don't have to get a job at college.
And that's far from the typical American college experience, right?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Um, so now you're done with college and you've got a tough decision to make,
Yeah.
right? You've got a job offer to go the more traditional company route, and you decided to, go start your own thing. Talk us through
Yeah.
that decision and why you made it.
Yeah. Well, I went to Iowa and studied business entrepreneurship, so I knew I wanted to do something. I think it was just the more of the fear of not knowing if it would work or making it much when you got a job offer sitting there making 3 times more than what you made at that current stage of life. So it was tough, but it just came back down to I didn't really want to show up at 7 or 8 or 9 and sit there and work for somebody all day and not 100% enjoy it. I had a passion for civil engineering and tried doing that route freshman year, and it just chemistry kicked my butt, and just realized that I had the street side, but not the book side of civil engineering. At least I thought, and so I knew I wanted to be in construction. Just didn't. Civil engineering wasn't going to pan out. Senior year, I did have a job offer in Austin, Texas. They flew me down, had an interview with them, and it was tough because I saw my friends going and getting all these jobs at these cool places and having fun, but I kind of had a gut feeling that the long run that this would pan out better. And I like being able to do my own thing, not sure what day to day is going to be. And I think that was the biggest deciding factor was I just wanted to enjoy it. And I knew eventually people would start moving back to their hometowns or where they grew up. So, I mean, friends going out doing all this stuff, I knew it was short lived. So I just kind of took the risk that staying here would be worth it in the end, and ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah, that's great. So now, talk about then you made that decision. You're going back. You decide I'm going to go back home and continue to build this business.
Yeah, it
What were those early days after college like?
was a lot of just grinding. I lived at home for 6 months before I got my first apartment on my own, and it was just working all day, every day, as much as you can, trying to build, just trying to get the name out there. And, it was just kind of that fear in the back of your head that I just graduated college. I got real bills to pay now. And how do you make it work? So, that was kind of the driving factor. But it was some of the funnest days too, because it was, you're in the field all day, you go to meetings at night, you're just doing a full out grind trying to build something. And so it was really fun. We had a lot of buddies right out of college that didn't have a job right away, were working for us. So some of my best friends were on our mowing crew. It was pretty awesome right out of college. It's still awesome, but it was fun those first couple of years, just being in the thick of it and trying to make things work.
Yeah, sounds like the classic entrepreneurial journey. Did
Yeah.
you ever have times where people where you're trying to get a job and people are looking at you going, "How you're running this company? How old are you?"
Yeah, it was always, my family owns a company called Lowman Companies. So it was all, they kind of assumed that it was my dad's business or family business. And so you kind of played it off a little bit. We never said that, but people would kind of assume it. You just kind of go along with it because it's like you're 21 years old trying to get a $100,000 project or $50,000 project and trying to gain the trust. So, it kind of helped, but then sometimes it was also people didn't understand that it was my company and trying to build it too. So it worked both ways, but I think that was the big thing. And it still is. We're a young company, we're young guys here. So we've proven ourselves now, but it's been a struggle of just, I shouldn't say struggle. It's been just harder to get out there that, hey, we know what we're doing. We've been doing it for 13 years now, and we really enjoy and have a passion for it. But it was just a lot tougher back then, right out of college, trying to do it and have trust that people were going to hire us.
Yeah.
And even
Well,
the roles too, just, hey, we're looking for legit workers to come work here. It's not just a summer job. And so, there was challenges all around starting out, but you have that with everything.
yeah, and I talk with lots of entrepreneurs, right? And early on, if you're not working all the time, every time, and doing a little bit of everything, right? Like wearing all the hats, the company doesn't make it.
Yep.
Early on, you're doing everything and you're working all the time. But now, as you start to grow, if you maintain that mentality, you're going to put a limit on the growth of the company, right? If you're doing everything and working all the time, and then it's just not going to go anywhere. So, how did you start? Making some of those early hires, and like you said, not just hiring temp workers, but really trying to get good employees that require paying them well. Talk about that transition.
Yeah, it just kind of, our goal was to always pay the guys as well as we could. And not, I looked at it as from this perspective of we wanted quality work and not just get the guys cheap to make more money. So that was a big factor into it. We kind of, like you said, I was kind of the only person running everything and doing the sales and designs till about 2019, 2020. Then when COVID hit, I kind of realized that, hey, if we want to grow, we need to hire a landscape designer, architect. So we hired our first one in 2020, and it worked out really well. And then I just kind of kept that mentality that, I kind of got to step back, or not step back, but replace myself because I might not be the best at it. And so hiring sales staff, hiring foremen that know what they're doing, looking for the guys that know what they're doing. And that just kind of evolved into where we're at now.
How did you know it was time to hire that first landscape designer, right? Because that's a big decision.
Yeah.
You're hiring somebody that's not managing people. They're not out in the field, right? Like, so how did you know it was time to make that hire?
Basically, when I was getting behind on bids and people are calling saying, hey, you got an estimate for us, or you got a design for us, or you just knew you're running a million miles an hour and not being productive. It was a tough decision because it's a lot. It's a lot of money of overhead sitting there and not physically out making you money, but they're just as important. And once you did it, it was kind of like, wow, I was probably losing that much money just because I'm not being able to do everything. So it kind of hit an overwhelming spot where I just knew it was time to do something.
Got it. So now you're also expanding into other things, right? You started mowing lawns, then you're adding landscaping and also pools and other things. So what drove those expansions?
Yeah, just kind of the market. We want to keep growing and we want to look for new ways to be different. And The pools was the big one a couple of years ago, 4 years ago now, where we had a homeowner that we did a ton of work for, and he wanted a pool, and he kind of just put trust in us to help him out and get a pool in his backyard. So we learned a lot from that, and then kind of had a lull. That was probably 5, 6 years ago now. We had a little lull of just how do we break the pool market and how do we get into it. And we had a really good supplier that has taught us a ton and been hands on. We've paid him to do training on our guys, and so we kind of embraced that. And then through Locals Love Us, we've gotten pools as well, which has been nice and word of mouth. But it's just been how do you diversify? When we walked in the backyards to do a patio and the pool's done, the pool company came in, did their thing, and left. There's a huge pile of dirt sitting there that we weren't really known we were supposed to be responsible for. The pool might be too high or too low. And it just didn't flow and there's no consistency. And then you hear the homeowner complain about the pool company or something else. And it's like, tying this all into one would be so much easier where the homeowner writes one check, somebody's in charge of the whole backyard. And so we kind of just capitalized on that because we just, even if we had to sub it out at the beginning, which we never did, but we always just were like, we want to take control of this and give the customer the best product we can. So the pools have kind of been a great compliment. And then we've got two really good guys that really love it. Our estimator loves selling them and even hands on, he'll plumb them and everything. So it's been a fun journey on the pool side. We've learned a lot from it. We've gotten really good at it. And I mean, our guys are always looking a way to be more innovative. I find here, at least my personal opinion is the pool companies just do the same thing. The ones that have been doing it forever. And there are some innovative companies, but they just seem to put the same light in, the same this. And there's no new innovation. So like we like to mix in top of line equipment. When we do pavers around the patio, they do a hide drain that you can hide the skimmer lids and put pavers over that skimmer lid so it all blends in with the patio. And finding new ways to be creative and make every job different, not the same, and kind of put our own twist on things. So it's been it's been a great compliment for us, and it's been one of the fastest growing sides we've had outside of landscaping.
Hmm. That's great. And what had to shift for you as you go from, because if you're mowing a lawn, even if you're doing landscaping, it's maybe some limited stress and liability, but now you're taking on some of these big complex projects. How did the company have to evolve in order to undertake those kinds of things?
Yeah, I mean, a big thing was, I mean, it was kind of baby steps getting to it. You do a little bit bigger project, then a little bit bigger, and then all of a sudden you
Mm.
get one that you got to tie it all into one. Our foremen have been amazing. We've got a bunch of foremen that they all have their own separate what they're really good at. So it's kind of finding that one for that job and putting them on it. And I mean, even if it takes us showing up every couple of days or every day to make sure the quality's there, make sure they're doing it right. Detailed plans, working with the homeowners, communication. I mean, that's all helped with getting the bigger ones and keeping them running smoothly and the risk on it. It's kind of funny because when we did our first pool, again, it was with the homeowner and he kind of took a risk on us, but he didn't want to hire somebody because he wanted to save money. And during COVID and the pool lines were like 2 years to get a pool installed. So he kind of took a risk on us and helped us. We learned a little bit, but not a ton. So when our estimator Alex came to work for us, I was like, "Yeah, we do pools." And he sold the pool, and then he's like, "So how do we do this?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like we did it, but we didn't fully do it." And so that's where we braced in suppliers and built a relationship with the suppliers to help teach us, and we paid them to do hands-on training on the job sites. And I think it was kind of the best thing we've done because it was just we got to figure it out. Let's go for it. Let's find the best people to help us make the best product.
Yeah, I love that you're kind of taking a chance on each other, right? Whether
Yeah.
and so often when entrepreneurs you want to expand, the best way is to find a happy customer and sell them something else, right? It's
Yep.
like, and they already have a comfort with you, so now you can take on a new project with them. So now you mentioned your foreman,
Yep.
and another thing that's really hard for entrepreneurs to do is to take the step back from doing the work that they love, right?
Yep.
So we love mowing lawns, or we love landscaping, or we love doing that. And then you maybe take the step up to foreman where you're running a crew, but now you're taking a step up of being out of the field altogether. And now you're managing a team of 17 people. So how did you have to evolve as a leader through all of that?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of day by day. You learn as you go. We've had two of our guys have been with us for 7 years, so they kind of were there at the beginning when there was three or four of us or five of us, and so it's kind of learn and adapt. Again, like you were working side by side with some of these guys, and now all of a sudden you're not in the field as often, and they're in the field every day. So, kind of showing them what's going on and kind of leading them into, hey, I got to do this to sell the next project. And we take great pride in also, like, we're not, the office staff's not afraid to get in and get dirty if we got to go hop in a machine or whatever. So you kind of prove these guys like we're here helping like grow this and make things work, and but we're not afraid to go out and help too if things are needed. So I think that's what's pretty cool about us and separates us from everybody else in the Quad Cities is our whole office isn't afraid to go hop in a machine or go get dirty for a day if we have to get it done. So I think that relationship we have with all of our staff and the guys is kind of what drives them to stay and what drives them to, they see that none of us are afraid to go get dirty, or nobody's better than anybody.
Yeah. Now, as you're growing, right, and you have less time in the field, even though you have some, uh, another challenge is maintaining the original culture that made you successful in the first place, right?
Yep.
So as you're hiring, you don't want to lose that distinctiveness. So how do you think about that? How do you hire and how do you bring people onto the team and make sure that you keep that culture that's made you successful in the first place?
Yeah, just being honest with them. I mean, we were talking. We try to talk to the guys when you go to job site visits and talk to them. Just get personal with them on how they're, what they like, or what they liked about their other company, or what they didn't like, and just kind of getting that personal side of connection with them. It does get harder as like some of the crews come in at 6 and they don't leave till 6. You might not see them during the day or for a couple days at a time, but just trying to hang out with them. I mean, sometimes on Fridays we'll grill and have a couple beers with the guys, or like we're doing a river bands game in a couple weeks. So just keeping that personal side there, and just, I mean, they're just like us. They're humans. They got families at home, so it's talking to them outside of work and just asking how everything's going and keeping that personal side too. So
Good. Um, Another expansion decision you had to make was, like classic startups. You started this one out of a garage,
yep.
right? But now you've invested in a shop. Talk through that decision making process and how you knew it was time to have a dedicated facility like you do.
Yeah, so we had about a half acre and a 2.5 car garage is what we ran off of. We had no water at our old shop, and we were there from almost the beginning. There was a couple years we were up at a family friend's excavating company where we kept 2 trailers there, and we just kind of ran out of there every day. But once we got our last shop, I mean, we outgrew pretty fast. We had strategically parked the guys which crew they were on, because if that crew got off early, then this guy couldn't leave because his car was blocked in, and so stuff like that. I mean, we were very, very efficient. But we were losing a lot of jobs because we couldn't sell plants at a reasonable price. We had to go buy them from a local landscape company that has a nursery, resell them, and it was just hard. And then if that plant died, you were paying full basically retail to go give the customer a new plant. So a lot of it was to that, and then it was just efficiencies. We got to a point where we were super efficient, but then we weren't efficient in some stuff because we were running such a small place. We needed offices just to be able to bring. I mean, we wanted to take customers to the old place, and so it was just, we wanted a showroom. We wanted to bring customers, make it more efficient. And so we kind of knew it was time. For a couple of years we've been searching, but we wanted a well, so we didn't have to pay for water for the plants. We wanted a couple acres. We had to have an office, warehouse. Like, it was a big growing pain on to find the right spot. And once we did, it was just a huge relief. It was a big risk too, because it was, you went from a paid off shop that was, I think we paid 30 grand for it, or 40 grand, to a place that's a 500,000. So it's a
Yeah.
big difference in just how are we going to make this work every month. And then once we got into it, you're just like, oh, we should have done this, or if we could have found it, we should have done this years ago, because just the nursery sales would pay for the monthly rent mortgage on the place. So it it was a big risk, and then it was a huge relief, and it was a big growing pain that kind of haunted us for a few years, but it was just trying to find the right place.
And I know one of the benefits we talked about earlier is with the customer experience, right? Having a place that you're proud to bring them,
Yeah.
and gives you an air of credibility. Maybe just talk about that a bit.
Yeah. So I mean, our goal was, is we go to these job sites, and when you meet the customer there, I mean, what's going to separate you from walking up versus a competitor and having the same brochure from the same supplier? And you can show them photos, they hear word of mouth, but then it's, hey, we want to bring you here, we want to bring you to our facility, show you what we've done. We've got a bar, we've got I don't know, a couple thousand square feet of pavers, a fireplace. We've got different wall materials. We've got everything here. You could pick out your plants if you wanted. So it's just kind of give them that experience that some other competitors can't have, and just kind of really bring them in. So once, basically what we do now is we'll go do the initial client meeting. We'll give them a design, a proposal, and if they really want to move forward on it, then they'll come down here. We could change the design in our conference room real time, so they could leave here with the design they wanted. They can pick out the material. They can look at different colors. Basically, just having it all here where it's more efficient instead of us running to our supplier, getting one brick, taking it to them. They don't like that color. They change it. Then we had to go get a different one, come back the next day. So just kind of streamline it and just making it more. I mean, once they come here, it's you built that relationship, and hopefully they're going to move forward with you and continue to be a lifelong customer. And a thing we take pride on that we're still working on is we're a landscape company. We want our facility to look great. So like we're in the process of redoing our parking lot where you step out. We want it to look like a golf course. So it's still a work in progress, but we're getting there. So once we get the parking lot done, which will be a big feat, then hopefully it'll look like a golf course or a 5-star resort. And that's what you want the customer to feel is you want them to get out and be like, wow, this is awesome. I want my house to feel like this. So, and we kind of do the same thing with our commercial projects. We just got done with a big commercial job that they just had bricks falling over in front of the restaurant, and they didn't really care about the outside. And then you kind of realize that, man, that's the first impression to any business, whether you're an insurance company or restaurant or landscape
Yeah.
company. When the person gets out of the car, it's kind of the first impression. And if it looks bad, they're going to walk in and kind of be like, oh, what is this place? So it's kind of the mindset we take here is we want the customer to get out and be like, wow, this is awesome. This is who I want to do business with.
Um, yeah, you mentioned something else too, in terms of how you differentiate yourself in the customer experience, and that's in some of the videos you send along with the estimates. Just
Yeah.
where did that come from, and just tell me about how those set you apart.
Yeah, I mean, basically most of it's social media. We got a pretty decent social media presence. We'd like to do a little bit better, and we're kind of working on that. But it was just how do you become the best? If we're going to do something, let's try to be the best at it. So even our social media, it's everybody can post photos of your job, but let's make a video and show them what we're doing, how maybe behind the scenes or a time lapse of it, just to kind of get out there and keep the people engaged. And it's funny, you go to some estimates, people are like, oh, I saw you on Facebook doing this job or that job looks cool. And then like down to the point we do a bunch of work down at Oak Run, which is about an hour away, and people will be on the boat and they'll see our John Deere equipment. They're like, oh, it looks like yours because they saw it on social media or videos. And so it's just another marketing tool that you can use. And the videos have been great as far as just standing out. We're working on another one right now that we'll send out after the estimate goes out. And so that video will kind of just be tailored towards, hey, we're building a lifestyle, not just a product in your backyard or a patio. And this is what you get when you hire us. And so we're working on that one currently. So that'll be another big one. We just made one not too long ago about, hey, you signed up for a pool in your backyard, but you might not know what that means. You're going to have dump trucks, you're going to have excavators, you're going to have a bunch of dust and dirt. Show them what's going to actually happen instead of, hey, here's your pool. It's going to be great when we're there, but we got to get there. So trying to show them everything, that it's not just, I mean, there's no hidden secrets that we're going to make a mess, but we're going to put it all back. Some people get overwhelmed when their nice, perfect yard gets torn up, but we're going to put it back and make it the way it was. You just got to bear with us. So try not to hide anything is the big thing, I think. And videos are an awesome tool for that.
Great. So if we look back, right, you said um, end of high school, going into college, 2 crews, what, 350 to $400,000 a year in revenue. Today, you've got 17 people, a dedicated facility, and all this diversity in your offerings. Just describe the company today. What does it
Yeah.
look like today, and how has it evolved from where you were?
Yeah. I mean, we just shoot for professionalism. So, I mean, like typical day here is the guys show up anywhere. I mean, it's awesome because we've got foremen that are you can trust and that they run their own projects. So I mean, we've got crews that start at 6 a.m. Office doesn't usually get here till 6:30 or 7, so you might not see some of those guys, but guys usually the rest of them start rolling at 6:45, 7 o'clock, and we start at 7. You know, it's kind of a controlled chaos in the mornings, which is what we love. I mean, I love morning rollouts. You get the wheel loader running around loading trucks. Guys are everywhere trying to get everything they need, and 7:20 is kind of the goal to get out, so we get them out of here. then
Yeah.
it's, your day is completely different every day. You got 6 crews, 7 crews running around. So it's trying
Mm.
to make sure that they've got what they need to stay efficient, bringing customers down here, making sure equipment doesn't break or it's serviced or it gets to the job where it needs to be next. So it's just a balancing act to keep them rolling, which is kind of my favorite part, just because you never know what's going to happen each day and what tomorrow's going to bring. So, but as far as the facility, yeah, I mean, again, efficiency's been huge. The guys have their own cages. It was actually a dog kennel. This place was a dog kennel before we bought it, and so we did. Company that owned it before us did a lot of updating to it. We put the dog kennels back into it because we saw that we could use it for tools, and the guys could lock their own tools up so that
Huh.
their tools don't go missing at night or another crew doesn't take it or whatever. So that's kind of cool. Is we utilize the dog cages to put all the tools in, wheelbarrows in, and then we've got a barn out back where all the trucks are in. So guys will go get their trucks, come up to the main building, go to their dog cage, get all their tools, and put them in and head out. So makes it a lot more efficient. Then with the nursery here, we can have the plants pulled and set out. And the guys grab the plants for that job, and the estimator or project manager can go out there and lay them out. So makes it a lot easier. The old place, all the tools hung up on the wall, and you just grab whatever and kind of fended for yourself. And hopefully, you had a shovel left by the time you got there if you're the last guy, and hopefully you didn't get the broken wheelbarrow. It makes it a lot easier being here. And then we also try to keep the same tools, same the machine's hard because we only have limited machines and we move them around, but we try to keep the same truck, same machine with that crew. Just that way they take care of it. Kind of they kind of embrace that it's theirs and keep it ends up keeping the truck in better shape or the equipment.
A couple times, Pierce, you've talked about having great foremen,
Yep.
and one of the challenges in a lot of the businesses I work with is bringing in that next level of leader. Right, almost always the expansion of a business is capped by the ability to find and develop and keep good leaders.
Yep.
So, talk through that. How did you get these foremen, and how do you keep them motivated? How do you lead them? How do you train them? Just talk through that process a little.
Yeah. So a lot of our guys have a lot of experience. They've been in it. I mean, some of them are 30 to 60 years old. And so it all kind of depends on we try to do word of mouth. So if we tell like our current guys that we obviously have great relationships with, we say, hey, we're looking for another foreman. Usually they'll bring you on or they'll say, hey, this guy wants to come work or wants an interview. So that's typically how we try to do it. We'll make some
Mhm.
posts on Facebook, but for the most part, it's just we like our guys. We know the quality we're getting with them. So we start with them and say, hey, you got a friend that wants to come work here? You know anybody that's at another company that might want to come? And now that we've kind of built that the last couple of years, we've got a lot of guys that, this spring, we had probably more guys than what we needed call us saying they wanted jobs. Right now, we're looking for a foreman. We're not posting on Facebook. We're not posting on Indeed. We tell our guys, hey, we're looking at another crew. We're looking for another foreman. You know of anybody because you know that their friend's going to have the same quality or hopefully ideally. And so
Yeah.
we're willing to take a risk on that versus go out to Indeed, hire somebody they don't have the experience, they don't have the quality, and then you're kind of like, what do you do? That's it's just word of mouth and just kind of hiring within our own people or having them move up is kind of how you find them.
Yeah. Yeah. Good people generally want to work with other good people,
Yep,
right?
absolutely. And it's the same thing with our customers. We try to do quality work to have quality customers, and we want to build friendships with our customers that last forever. So we have that relationship. And same thing with suppliers. Suppliers are just as important as customers, in my opinion, because they're the ones that provide the support, the equipment.
Mhm.
They'll refer you to jobs. So again, it's all just kind of one big quality networking thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's not always what you know, it's who you know that
Yep,
makes
absolutely.
some of the biggest difference. So now, when we talked before, you said your goal was to be the biggest and the best in the Quad Cities. I
Yeah.
think I think you told me. So,
Yep.
what does that look like to you, and what are you going to have to do to get there?
Yeah. So quality growth and controlled growth. We want to keep growing, but we don't want to lose the quality side. So, that's a tough balancing act because as you're hiring people and you're getting more jobs, and not every job is for us either. So,
Yep.
how do you go out and keep growing and getting every job that you want, but then knowing which jobs to stay away from or which jobs to say no to? So, like commercial side this year has been a little lower for us compared to last year, just because we're like that's not a good fit for us, or maybe we don't necessarily want to work with that contractor just because we don't have the same mindset. Or I'm not saying that they're bad contractors, but it's just they might not fit our mesh of how we want to do things. So I think it's a big balancing act of how we keep growing. But as long as every year we keep growing a little bit and a little bit, we'll get there eventually. But again, the best part is still big, important to being the biggest is not losing the quality and not losing the quality guys and not having just a number in your head to be the biggest and have the most crews and then lose all the quality. So
So as you do that and you think, right, you've had to evolve from mower to now CEO of a 17-person company. How are you going to have to grow in order to be the biggest and best in the Quad Cities?
yeah, same thing, just kind of knowing when it's time to make a decision that might move me out a little bit of hiring another estimator or hiring another foreman or somebody like we just brought my wife on board because I was doing all the accounting and I probably should not have been doing as long as I have been. And there was some stuff that, it'd take long to get invoices. I was good to get out, bills I was good to pay, but everything in between, I'm like, as long as the invoices are going out and the bills are getting paid, whatever. And then you start seeing like, you want to pull up real time QuickBooks and look at where you're at for the week or the month or the year. It's like, oh, well, I can't do that. So we brought her on last year. It just ended up working out. I didn't think I was going to hire her, but her current job and having kids, it just worked out well that she came here, and it's been an awesome fit just because now we're just a little more efficient in the office and it makes us a little bit better. We can job cost real time, see where we're at on each job. So it's just efficiencies like that where you don't want to hire another office person, but you kind of need it or you're going to be losing money. So stuff like that, and just looking for different ways to grow and just knowing when it's not my position or knowing that I can't do that, but there's somebody better than me out there that can do it.
Well, one of the other challenges we talked about is that you're going to need to build a brand, right? You have one, and it's starting to become more known. But if you want to hit those growth goals, right, you're going to need to really build the brand too. So how do you think about that, and what kinds of things are you doing to build the brand of Lowman Earthworks?
Yeah. Marketing has always been tough because I always see social media as it's always worked. It's free and you do videos, it costs you a little bit, but until the last couple of years, I've never been one to post on billboards or do stuff like that because it just seems so old school. But it's still brand awareness. So, like I said about the airport, we built a display in the airport patio with a pergola, chairs, people sit in it, they see your name. It's worked out well. Got a lot of pictures from it where people are sitting in it, drinking mimosas or beers for their flight. But it's how you still got to do, in my opinion, now it's you still have to do some of the basic marketing. So we do a couple billboards. We do other things like locals love us that you don't see the results like you see from the airport where people are sending you photos all the time, but it's working. The billboard, I would say we probably have more calls in that area now where it's at. Whether it's related or not, I still think it's brand awareness where they see it. Oh, I just called that person, or I need to call a landscaper. So spending more money in that on the marketing side because it also just helps with brand awareness, sponsoring things, doing more things in the community. We got another big kind of marketing that we're trying to work on and trying to get our foot in the door on. That would be a big brand awareness on a different market than what we're used to. So just kind of thinking outside the box there. And I think the sponsorships also help a ton on different levels of different areas. We're doing food truck fight this year, which is basically a big event where they bring a bunch of food trucks in and they battle to see who's the biggest winner or the best food truck of the year. And we're sponsoring that, just trying to get our name out there as well and different branding with different markets and different people.
Yeah, sounds like a lot more stuff, and as you hand off some things, you get to work on those
Yeah.
higher growth goals, just like you talked about. If as you look ahead, right, you've said, okay, there'll be the challenge of hiring good people. There'll be the challenge of not growing so fast that we can't maintain quality, and then getting your name out there. If let's do a little bit of a pre-mortem here.
Yeah.
If you don't achieve the goal, why do you think that would be? What's the biggest thing standing between you and achieving that long-term vision?
I think branding and getting the name out there. I mean, I think that's the part we struggle with when you go. I mean, we've got about an hour radius around the Quad Cities where we work at. And we did a job in Alito last year. It was pretty big, and I just remember we blew a tire on a trailer, and the neighbor came out, and she's like, "I've never heard of you guys. Where are you guys from?" And it's like stuff like that where they're only 30 minutes away, but it's like, how do you keep getting that brand out there? And I just, I mean, you're used to it because we're just small. We're still small, and people are just like, I've never heard of you. Where are you guys from? So it's how do you get rid of that? I think is the biggest. And I know you'll always have people that have never heard of you, but how do you limit that and keep growing? So whenever I hear that, I'm like, man, we got to do better marketing somehow, or you got to brand better. And again, you won't
Yeah.
capture everybody, but just trying to get it down to where you hear that a lot less. So I personally think it's just branding, getting the name out there.
Got it. Okay. Now, last question here, Pierce.
Yeah.
So as you look back, right, and you already say there were some things like, man, I wish we had gotten into a space sooner. So as you look back and, look at that kid coming out of college and starting his own business, what piece of advice would you give to yourself at that point that might have gotten you further ahead today than where you are?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say just because it's take the risk, but you never know which risk is right or wrong. So, I mean, the big
Yeah.
thing is just kind of trust your gut, I think. I feel like I've done a pretty good job of trusting my gut. I mean, there's been obviously a lot of bad decisions you make and a lot of good ones. But also, I guess the big one would just be learning from the bad ones when you make a bad mistake. I mean, I can't remember what they are, but you make a bad mistake and you've got a form that comes to you, it's like, why are we doing this? Or why'd you do it that way? And it's like, I told the one time, like, I don't know, man, I'm learning just like you. I've never ran a business before. Like, we're just trying to figure this out. And so I think
Yeah.
the business kind of actual, like, not the landscape side, but the business side of just trust your gut and learn from your mistakes, and just kind of know when, hey, I screwed up and it's time to learn from it and move on. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know so many of the entrepreneurs I talk to are, they're always looking forward, right? Looking, what's next. But we say we don't actually learn from our mistakes. We learn from reflecting on our mistakes. So yes, you want to stay focused on the future, but you can't forget to take the lessons um, from those mistakes so you don't repeat them in the future.
and that's
So
what our office had a good idea this week of for our mid-season mowing customers. Hey, let's send out a survey and just see how we're doing. Like, haven't had the
mm,
complaints. Maybe they'll say that we're really good at something and that we don't know we're good at, and we just kind of take it for granted. So, kind of reviewing. I mean, we do that with our job sites. Every big job or medium-sized big job, we'll bring the foreman in, we'll walk through the job if we're under over hours, profit margins, and kind of walk through it all and say, hey, how can we do better next time? So I think
yeah.
that's a big thing. It's probably a big thing I wish we would have done earlier is just job costing and just where did we screw up or what did we do good at?
Yeah, and it's important to do that, and it's also important to get that feedback from the customer. Have you is it too new, or have you learned anything from the feedback you got?
We're sending them out on Monday. We just came up with the idea,
Okay.
so we haven't got
Yeah.
any feedback yet. So
Great. Well, it'll be interesting to
yeah,
see what you hear.
yeah,
Anyway, this has been a great conversation, Pierce. It's been fascinating to hear about your journey from teenager mowing lawns to now running a business of 17 people that's continuing to grow. And it's clear that you're not just building outdoor spaces, you're really building something that people love. And you're the exact kind of person that we love to have here on the podcast. So thanks for joining us.
yeah. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. If you really enjoyed this episode, leave us a review and be sure to subscribe on your favorite streaming channel. Then you'll never miss an episode of Building Love Businesses. So until next time, I'm Nathan Schock.